Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, the resident redneck. I'm pretty sure that all you need are 50% threads to have all the holding power you're going to get out of the bolt. I threaded those deep down in there just in case I don't have any short bolts. I don't like to have to cut them off. Okay, now I better turn it over and put a hole in the other side on each of those pieces, but I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, so there's the sides on it, the end. I'm going to come back with a end mill round nose right down through there because this hole's too close to the bottom. Now I would not have chosen to put it there except it was already there. Like these holes in the end they were already there. So I took what I could get. Being so it was as close to the right piece of metal as I could find. After I do that, then I need to make a piece like this that has a little bit sticking down on it to set on here and mash down on the hose to hold it nice and tight. Then I'll have to make the screw and the little pusher, and then we'll be through. But it's getting hot out here, and I've been here all I want to, so we're going to call it a day. Alright, I'm just going to cut a little groove right down the middle there so that I've got clearance for the half 13 thread is going to be pushing the little block to push the pieces together. I can't say that I can credit myself with buying it from these people. Well, that's in line with it pretty good. I guess I could go all the way to the other end. I'll wake you guys up when it's all over. This is the little piece that I'll fix on the end of the screw for pushing. And as you can see, probably, I think I've taken my Randy Richards scribe and made a mark right there. Okay, so I'm going to just cut her down to there. This is easier than trying to hold it in the vise because it's so tiny. You know, I say the vise, the saw vise over there. I'll bring you back. So with the aid of this 5C collet holder, I've put a hex on the end of my screw. Alright, so now that's what it looks like. Alright, and this is an alternate method of power tapping. You have to be sure to have a good sharp tap. It's drilled for 50% thread. I'm going to come down with this thing, I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to jam it in after I turn it off. There you are. Started slipping in the chuck by the time it got reasonably deep in there. No broken tap, straight thread. I think you guys ought to consider practicing a little bit. Get a piece of scrap metal, scrap steel, scrap aluminum, nice new tap, and practice power tapping until you get really confident about it, because you can do it if I can do it. Alright, so what's the finished product look like? This is what it looks like. Got a piece there. This goes in to squeeze against the hose, hold it from slipping. And I don't know if it's long enough or not. I may have to make it a little longer, but I think it is. I had intended to get some hose today on the way home from practice. But I was thinking about gun oil, so I went to Academy instead and bought gun oil, so I don't have any spare hose right this second. Alright, anyway, that's how you clamp the hose down. Once the hose is in there, you turn it around like so. Put the drill on it, rather the impact tool on it, and there you go. Turn it sideways so that you can get the full picture here. Let me turn it just a little bit here. Back off. There. Put the hose fittings in there. Put this guy and squeeze it together. Good enough, huh? Alright, so I gotta take the boss lady to Sam's Wholesale Club today. So and that's really near to Home Depot, so we'll stop over there and buy some hose to play with. And then I'll finish the video. What do you think of that? Okay, so if you got a pudding, you got to test it. They say that, you know, proof of the pudding's in the tasting, so we're going to taste it. Now, one of the things I got to do is know how far to push this ferrule up on there. So I'm going to mark the hose. I would say along about there. That ought to be more than far enough. And I have to chamfer the end of the hose because these ferrules are really just too darn tight on the hose. Maybe I should have got them some other place, you know, and I'd have got something easier to do. Now that I've got to take this guy and set him in here, and I'm not sure how easy that's going to be to do, but I'm no longer worried about this thing being too short. Let me make sure my bolts are long enough and everything to squeeze down on it, and I'll bring you right back. Alright, I'm going to have to be a little bit creative with the camera to get this thing in a position where we can all see what's going on. But as you can see, I've got the hose clamped down there, and I'm going to have to squeeze the ferrule on there. Let me try and situate the camera in a better spot. I'm hand holding it right now. Probably an inadvisable move, but this is the very first time I've tried to squeeze an end onto a hose with this thing, so we'll all find out if it's going to work or not. It doesn't look too hopeful considering how small that ferrule is and how large that hose is, but we'll give her a shot here and see what happens. That ferrule is not going to fit on that hose. There's no way in the world. That's never going to happen. I can't see that thing ever squeezing up on there. We'll try it again. Nope. The hose is too big for the ferrules. So, it says 3/8 hose, but apparently there's 3/8 of this size and 3/8 of that size. And I'm going to have to either get bigger ferrules or smaller hose. So, let me work that problem out, then I'll be back. Okay, so now it's 2 days later. I immediately went to Amazon and ordered some ferrules that are bigger, and I think this will slide on there pretty good. So in fact, I think I can just shove it on there with my finger, but we're going to use the machine because I made it, right? Alright, pushed it all the way up there on it. Let's let's get one of the barbs and see where we go from here. I've tried to figure out what's a good angle for you guys to see, but I guess this is about as good as it's going to get. I've got going to put this on the end of the hose, so I want this barb right here. I will just take him and see if I can stuff him in there. This thing is too long. Well, let's try and take this piece off. See if I can get it to come off. Alright, you got to sleep for a minute while I try to take this off. Alright, I pulled the little pusher block off of there. Remember, this is a prototype, so things are not likely to be absolutely as wonderful as they should be. Alright, let's see if I can push the barb in there without any kind of major problems of any kind. I think that it pushed it in. Yeah, I'll have to loosen up these bolts back here and make sure that everything's right, and then I'll bring you right back. Cooter, being an unusual sort of fella, wanted an unusual sort of pet. So he went down to the pet store and told the guy in there that's what he wanted, was something unusual. So store owner looks around and says, I got just what you need. He says, right here in this white box, he says, I got a talking centipede. You know what a centipede is, the little bug with 100 legs. And Cooter thought about that. He said, well, that's just right. He said, I'll take him. So he took him home, put him on a shelf there, this old White House, you know, the little white box. So he decided, well, it's time for him to go down to the store. And he come by the box and he says, hey, I'm going to the store. Y'all want to go? He didn't hear nothing from Centipede, so he waited about a few minutes. He come back and he says, hey, he says, I'm going to the store. Y'all want to go? Centipede still don't make no sound out of the box. He started to get worried. He come up real close to it and yelled at it, hey, y'all, I'm going to the store. You want to go? A little voice come out of the box and says, I heard you the first time. I'm putting on my shoes. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.